I still remember the sound. Glass exploding against my skull. Laughter. The music still thumping in the background as if nothing had happened. And my mother, Diana's voice, cold and sharp, cutting deeper than the glass itself. Ungrateful. You'd rather watch your brother suffer than give him what you don't even need. I didn't answer. Blood trickled down my face, my vision dimmed, but I stayed silent. That silence. That was my last gift to them. Because when I woke up in the hospital, I realized something. They hadn't just shattered a champagne bottle over my head. They had shattered the last fragile thread tying me to them. It wasn't always like this. I used to believe in family loyalty. I used to believe blood meant something. I was the quiet one, the builder, the one who worked late nights while my brother, Ethan, burned through money, burned through people, burned through every ounce of patience anyone gave him. My parents, Diana and Charles, worshipped him, called him brilliant, called him gifted. And me. I was just the responsible one. But in their eyes, responsibility was just another word for servitude. I was their midnight call, their emergency bank, their fixer. Until the condo. $680,000. Every polished floorboard, every marble countertop, every brick was paid for by my blood and sleepless nights, building my company from nothing. When Ethan demanded it, when my parents insisted I sign it over to him, something in me finally snapped, said no. And that's when the word came. Ungrateful. It sliced through the air like a blade. And then came the crash. The bottle. Pain. The darkness. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. For what? For raising myself. For financing their chaos. For being the invisible pillar that held their collapsing world upright while they spat on me. The doctors called me lucky. No brain damage. Just stitches. Just bruises. Just a concussion. But luck had nothing to do with what came next. I didn't go home. I didn't call them. I sat in that hospital bed and I planned. They thought I was just the quiet one. The giver. The invisible lifeline. But invisibility has its advantages. Lets you move unseen. Every loan in Ethan's name. I owned them through shell companies. Every gift I had funneled into my parents' accounts. Traceable. Reversible. Taxable. Every business venture they leaned on me for. Built on blueprints they never understood. Blueprints I alone controlled. So when I left that hospital, I didn't storm into their house. I didn't scream. I didn't beg for an apology. That would have been too small. Instead I pulled strings. Counts froze. Debts were called in. One by one their safety nets snapped. Ethan's car was repossessed. Right in front of his friends. His credit cards declined at the bars where he used to brag. He called me sobbing, pretending at brotherhood. I didn't answer. My parents' mortgage doubled overnight. The donations that bought them respect at church disappeared. Their lifestyle cracked into overdue notices and eviction threats. And me. I watched. Patient. Silent. The climax came sooner than I expected. 2 weeks after I left the hospital, Charles stormed into my office. His face red, his hands shaking. "You can't do this to us," he hissed. "You're our child." I leaned back in my chair. The scar still tender on my scalp pulsed beneath my skin. "Child," I said softly. "Children aren't meant to be sacrifices." He slammed his fists against my desk. He begged, then threatened, then begged again. And I just listened. Silent. Finally, I leaned forward and whispered the only words I had left for him. "You taught me what ungrateful means. Now, you get to live it." Press the button. Security dragged him out. Revenge isn't loud. It doesn't need fire, or screaming, or broken bottles. Revenge is silence. Revenge is absence. Revenge is watching those who called you ungrateful choke on their own entitlement. I never raised a hand against them. I never shouted. I just stepped back. And without me they drowned. The last I heard, they sold their house. Ethan couchsurfs, living off pity. Diana and Charles whisper to anyone who will listen about betrayal. But me. I wake in peace. I walk through the condo they once tried to steal from me. Every corner whispers not of them, but of survival. They thought that bottle would take everything. But all it did was free me. And in losing me, they lost everything else. I'm not ungrateful. I'm just done.